Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tennyson E Stead, writer and director of Quantum Theory, founding member of 8-Sided Films, here with another 8-Sided blog. And today I'm going to talk in very general terms about a landmark moment in my career. I am in the next 24 hours signing with a manager. I'm not going to mention her name because it's never a good idea to publicize anything before a deal is done. But we know each other, and I don't expect there to be any complications with it. To find out who my manager is, just sign on to my IMDb page in a few days, and it'll be there. But we're signing papers this weekend, and so it struck me as a good time to sit back and talk about what a manager is, what the differences between managers and agents are, and how someone like this can impact your career, and what having representation puts in your toolbox, specifically when it comes to management. So first of all, the difference between managers and agents is something that gets asked about very, very frequently by people who are new to the industry. An agent is someone who has a license with the state of California, here in Los Angeles at any rate, and the rules are different from state to state. But here in California, to be an agent, you have to have a license. And what that license entitles you and empowers you to do is to broker deals on behalf of talent with producers and with production companies. So you can make all the arrangements, decide what is and is not going to be in that deal, and then present that deal for a signature if you are an agent or if you're an attorney. Okay? Now, the reason why you have to have a license for this is because back in the golden age of Hollywood, in the studio heyday, studios were signing actors to long contracts where those actors had to work for the studio and then deciding what movies to put them in, and it was impossible for an actor under that kind of contract to expand or grow their career or start making the kind of money that the studio was making on their pictures, because the person who was negotiating on their behalf was also the person who was benefiting from screwing them. That's what's called a conflict of interest. Okay? So to eliminate that, it became law in the state of California that an actor or a creative talent doesn't have to have an agent, but ultimately someone who's going to negotiate those deals on behalf of an actor has to be someone who is not tied up in all of the other ways that the business is being done. So there's no conflict of interest. That's what an agent is, okay? Managers do not have the right to negotiate deals on behalf of talent. They don't. And at the same time, not getting that license frees a manager up to do all of the things that an agent can't by law do in the state of California. One of those things is produce movies. So what managers do is they essentially help, in my case writers, but help talent construct the situations and the scenarios that are going to be conducive for moving their career forward. And the operative word here is help. Because at the end of the day, the middle management of Hollywood, the agents, the managers, and the executives, are all people who are looking to build a career and make money and ultimately build wealth around the entertainment industry. Okay? And many of them are very passionate about film and very passionate about actors or writers or whatever it is that they do, or however they contribute to the industry. But the point of that career at the end of the day is to make money off of the assets, the creative assets that this town has to offer. So if you are an actor, or if you're a writer, or if you're a director, and you are not already building all of the circumstances, not just the work, not just the catalog of performances or the catalog of scripts or whatever it is that you're doing, but also building a community that's supportive of your work and that's going to pay you to do the work, and that does pay you to do the work. If you're not building a network of people that rely on you for what you do and then give you money in exchange for it, then there's no wealth to be generated by representing you. So a lot of people look at representation as this catch-22 situation where you've already got to be self-sufficient to get the help that you need to be self-sufficient. If an agent or a manager is going to come in and help you close deals and help you build your brand, build your business, and do all this stuff, then then that's great. But if the agent or the manager needs to see those things already exist, then what good are they? Well, what good are they is they can help you take some of the workload off your plate, free you up to focus on the things that you're specializing in, and help you do it a little bit more efficiently. And that's really it. They're taking 10% of the money out of that process. So they probably aren't doing much more than 10% of the work. And in the case of most agents and managers, they're actually doing less than 10% and marking up their services. Does that make sense? What they will tell you is that the network that they've already built, their network of contacts and all this and that, is where the 10% comes from. They're certainly not going to put in 10% of the time on your career. So what does it mean? Well, it means that number one, the industry is validating the work that I'm doing. Signing an agent or a manager means that somebody at the very least believes that they can make money on you. And that's very helpful to know. That's a positive thing. Secondly, it means that all of the producing work that I'm doing is going to get more focused, because I can keep it focused much more exclusively on 8-sided films, and let a lot of the spec scripts and a lot of the other stuff that's going on in my life get handled by the manager, whose job it's going to be to package those materials while I make myself more valuable to the industry in the ways that I'm best at. That's very good. And the third thing is that it's going to avail me of that network and help me start pitching more people per day. It's going to help me make sure that I'm getting myself out there more consistently, and it's going to help me make sure that I have essentially a deeper range of contacts to reach out to for each individual little thing I need, which is, again, helpful. It's very helpful to have that. And I think it is going to have an impact on the work that we do at 8-Sided Films, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. What I want to encourage people to sort of step away from is the idea that having an agent or a manager in any way puts you in a position where you have made it. You understand? Everybody in this town, when push comes to shove, is motivated by one of two things, or a combination of both, but typically really one of two things. They're either just a die-hard show person who absolutely needs to be in front of an audience and absolutely has to make sure that audience is having a great experience. And those people are not hard to recognize. You know what I'm saying? You can see them in the community all around us. They tend to be leaders. And people tend to flock around them and group around them because they get the work done every day, and they can be relied on. You know, America Young, Bonnie Gordon, Jennifer Zhang, these are people in my community who are dyed-in-the-wool show people, and there's just no stopping them. VK Lynn, Alex Calise, Dan Hegarty, my cast and crew, Gerard Marzilli, Tyler Seipel, Eleanor Gunn and Acacia Gardner and Angela Sauer. These are people who, and Ray, Oxay, Cesar Ramos, Ariana Almajan. These are show people. You know, even Johnny Durango, my DP, is a show person at the end of the day. What he really has to do when he gets out of bed is shoot something and make sure that it makes somebody else go, wow. That's his life. You know, he's definitely somebody who needs to provide for his family, you know, but in a pinch, I know what Johnny's going to do. And then there's the person who comes into this industry because it's an industry full of wealth and full of success. And it appears that way from the outside looking in because everybody who's in the public eye is wealthy and successful, right? But there's a ton of people in this town who are not wealthy and who don't have that level of success that puts them in the public eye and makes their life an object of public scrutiny and gives everybody the impression, oh, this is what Hollywood is. Okay? And if you're coming here for that, then being an agent or being a manager or being executive is a very good job for you to have. Because number one, it incentivizes you to actually contribute to the community. You know what I mean? It puts you in a position where there's some kind of system of accountability for what you're doing. And whether or not you're actually helping anybody does have an impact on your paycheck. And at the same time, those of us who are show people have to understand when dealing with these folks that that there's no switch that's going to flip on in their brain. They've learned the vocabulary of show people. They're going to sit there and tell us, you know, you're so creative, I admire this, I admire that, I enjoy this movie, I enjoy that movie. You know, they have the language down, but we have got to remember when interacting with these people what their language is, and we have to remember what they're here for. Because otherwise we get very, very confused by their behavior. And at the end of the day, they're here to make 10% of us. That's what they're here for. That's their job. It's what they're pitching us. And whatever we have is what they're going to look at, slice 10% off and say, you know, that's for me. So, so don't look at these people as answers to problems. That's what I'm really getting at in this blog. An agent is not an answer to your problems. A manager is not an answer to your problems. They are not. Okay? At best, what they're going to do is provide you with more tools to solve your problems. But if you're not already solving those problems, they're not even going to offer that. So, you know. So I'm represented. We'll see what happens over the course of the next few months. But this is definitely somebody who's excited to dive in and take advantage of the work that this community here, you and me and everybody else involved, has created. And I'm glad to have the help. You know what I'm saying? I could use the resources, I could use the extra contacts, I could use somebody else running around with a suitcase full of my screenplays. All of these things are helpful. And that's what having a manager means. It's been a long blog, so I'm just going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up if you like these kinds of, if you like these videos. There's a subscribe button down here, which I want you to click because as things ramp up with quantum theory, and as we move, you know, towards the end of the summer and into the fall, there's going to be a lot of stuff to see. There's going to be a lot of pre-production artwork. There's going to be I don't think I'm going to videotape rehearsals. I don't think I want to do that to my actors, but we'll definitely do interviews at the rehearsals and talk about the characters and the work that we're doing and maybe share little clips of it or something. We'll figure a way out to sort of bring that part of the process to the audience. And you know, and that's about it. Thank you for watching. Have yourself a great evening. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.